You have been told that fat loss is simple math, but your body quietly breaks that rule every single day. Calories matter, of course they matter, but counting them alone misses the strange and hidden way protein actually behaves inside. Imagine paying someone $100, but watching them hand 30 back the moment the cash touches their open hands. That is roughly what protein does, because your own body burns energy just to break it down and process it. For every 100 calories of protein, your body may spend 20 to 30 just digesting, absorbing, and cleaning up afterward. Compare that to fat, which costs almost nothing, slipping into your system smoothly while barely asking your metabolism for anything. Carbohydrates sit somewhere in between, costing maybe 5 to 10 calories for every 100 your body works hard to handle. So fat glides through easily, while protein arrives carrying paperwork, demanding attention, and forcing your body to actually do work. This single difference is the first clue that not all calories behave the same once they enter your living body. Your body is not a calculator running clean equations. It's a messy, reactive system that responds to chemical signals. And that word, signals, is the secret most diet advice completely ignores while obsessing over numbers printed on food labels. You can intend to lose fat, eat clean, and buy products screaming lean, but biology only reads the real signal. It quietly asks how many amino acids arrived, how fast, and whether you gave it any reason to keep muscle. So let us follow protein on its journey, starting the moment it enters your mouth and meets your hungry stomach. Within minutes, acids and enzymes begin tearing those large protein structures into smaller pieces your body can actually absorb later. Tiny biological scissors snip the protein into peptides and amino acids that slip into your bloodstream and travel everywhere needed. Some proteins move fast, like whey, flooding your blood with amino acids within roughly 60 quick minutes after you eat. Others move slowly, like the casein found inside cottage cheese, releasing amino acids gradually across 5 to 7 full hours. That slow drip is why nighttime cottage cheese became a fitness ritual, feeding your muscles steadily while you peacefully sleep. Now here's the first real mechanism, the reason processing protein quietly costs your body meaningful amounts of energy daily. Amino acids contain nitrogen, and your body cannot simply store the extra nitrogen the way it lazily stores spare fat. So your liver strips those nitrogen groups, converts the waste into urea, and ships it out through your busy kidneys. All that processing burns real calories, which is exactly why protein carries such a famously high thermic cost when eaten. This does not mean protein calories magically vanish, but they clearly do not behave like calories from plain melted butter. A calorie measures energy, but it never tells you about hunger, digestion cost, muscle protection, or what happens hours later. And that brings us to the second mechanism, where protein starts talking directly to your appetite using powerful chemical messengers. When protein reaches your small intestine, it triggers fullness hormones that travel up toward your brain, announcing genuine deep satisfaction. These hormones slow your stomach, stretch out your fullness, and quietly tell your brain to stop hunting for endless snacks. You feel satisfied not because willpower suddenly appeared, but because your own gut literally sent your brain a calming message. In one controlled study, people eating 30% protein naturally ate around 400 fewer calories without any forced restriction. Nobody told them to suffer or starve. They simply ate more protein, and their hunger gently faded into the background. That is the quiet power of protein, turning hunger from a daily willpower battle into a far calmer chemical conversation.
But satiety is only half the story. because protein also protects something far more valuable than just your shrinking waistline. That something is muscle, the metabolically active tissue your body might quietly sacrifice the moment your eating signals turn weak. Here, protein quality truly matters, and one specific amino acid called leucine becomes the most important character in this story. Think of leucine as a special key that unlocks the door to muscle repair and tells your body to build. When enough leucine arrives inside a single meal, it flips a switch that activates muscle building and active ongoing maintenance. For most adults, that switch needs roughly 2 to 3 full grams of leucine arriving together within a single meal. Older adults often need even more because aging muscle becomes stubborn and far less responsive to the very same protein. To reach that threshold, you usually need a solid serving, like 3 whole eggs or a decent portion of chicken. This is exactly why how you spread protein across your day matters far more than people usually ever bother realizing. Nibbling tiny bits of protein all day is like softly tapping a doorbell 9 times instead of pressing it firmly. Your muscle ignores those weak taps, but responds powerfully to clear, strong pulses of protein arriving a few daily times. So 3 or 4 solid protein meals usually beat one single giant dinner after a whole day of mindless snacking. This matters most during dieting, when your body desperately searches for any missing energy to cover that daily calorie shortfall. You want it pulling that energy from stored fat, but your body is not sentimental about exactly which tissue burns. If your signals stay weak, your body may decide muscle looks expensive and start quietly breaking it down for fuel. Losing muscle feels harmless on the scale, but it quietly lowers the total calories your resting body burns every day. Lose several kilograms of muscle across repeated diets, and suddenly your body needs noticeably fewer calories than it once did. This is the hidden trap people wrongly blame on age or laziness, when really earlier diets quietly stole their muscle. Each diet took some muscle. The next one felt harder, regain grew easier, and the whole frustrating cycle slowly deepened. This is why eating enough protein while dieting is not about fullness alone, but protecting your entire future metabolic strength. Research shows higher protein diets preserve significantly more lean mass than lower protein diets producing the exact same weight loss. Some estimates suggest 50% more lean mass preserved, which means losing real weight while keeping the engine running strong. So the scale alone lies, because dropping 6 full kilograms means nothing until you know what kind of tissue left. Now let us turn this whole science into real food, starting with one of the most underrated proteins around, eggs. Eggs deliver protein, healthy fats, and powerful satiety, often keeping you fuller per calorie than plain bread, cheese, or beef. 3 whole eggs push you close to that leucine threshold, making them a genuinely powerful and convenient breakfast anchor choice. If calories feel tight, simply mix whole eggs with egg whites, keeping the nutrients while trimming the extra dietary fat. Next comes Greek yogurt, especially the plain kind, not those sugary dessert cups dressed up to look so impressively healthy. Plain Greek yogurt brings high protein, slow digesting casein, and a creamy texture that satisfies far beyond its modest calories. It works beautifully at breakfast, as a quick snack, or as a dessert replacement with berries or a cinnamon sprinkle. Then there's cottage cheese, unfairly mocked, yet biologically brilliant thanks to its slow casein and its impressive lasting fullness. Eating protein at night doesn't magically become fat because your body truly cares about total intake, not the clock.
Pre-sleep casein can even support overnight muscle repair, feeding your body steadily without automatically adding any extra unwanted fat storage. Next is chicken breast and turkey, the classic lean proteins offering plenty of solid protein for relatively very few calories. The real problem is people cook chicken like punishment, leaving it dry, when seasoning and sauces easily make it enjoyable. A diet built on suffering rarely lasts, so flavor your protein and turn boring meals into something you actually crave. Then comes fish and seafood, where lean options like cod, shrimp, and tuna deliver huge protein for very tiny calories. Fattier fish like salmon and sardines carry more calories, but reward you with omega-3 fats and a deep, lasting fullness. Salmon is never simply good or bad alone because context decides whether it helps or quietly sabotages your calorie goals. Add heavy oils and creamy sauces, then blame the poor fish, and you have completely framed an innocent, nutritious food. Lean beef joins the lineup, offering quality protein, leucine, iron, zinc, and B vitamins inside satisfying, hearty, deeply filling portions. Leaner cuts like sirloin fit easier, giving more protein per calorie, proving that fat is not evil, just energy-dense. Then come the plant proteins, legumes, tofu, tempeh, and edamame, which absolutely support fat loss with a quite different profile. Plant proteins often carry less leucine per gram, but reward you generously with fiber, that powerful secret weapon for fullness. Lentils, beans, and chickpeas combine protein, fiber, water, and volume, filling your stomach while keeping the total calories pleasantly low. Plant-based eaters simply combine several sources and increase portions enough to hit both protein and leucine daily targets. Your body never truly demands meat itself, it only demands amino acids, and meat is simply one efficient delivery system. Finally, there is whey and protein powder. Not magic, not cheating, just a simple, convenient tool for hitting your targets. Whey digests fast and overflows with leucine, making it excellent whenever whole food feels too inconvenient or simply too slow. But shakes often satisfy far less than chewing real food, so treat them as helpful tools, never your entire foundation. Now, the obvious question arrives. Exactly how much protein do you actually need to make all this real machinery work? Research points toward roughly 1.5 up to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. Beyond a certain point, more protein simply stops adding extra muscle benefit, becoming merely more chewing, more cost, more effort. For healthy kidneys, higher protein appears completely safe, but anyone with kidney disease should always consult a qualified medical professional. Please never freestyle your kidney nutrition just because some confident video made eating chicken sound heroic, dramatic, and completely risk-free. Timing matters too, because muscle building triggers per single meal, not slowly across a vague daily total reached by midnight. Aim for 3 or 4 solid protein feedings daily, each delivering roughly 25 to 40 grams depending on your size. Breakfast deserves special attention because overnight your muscle balance drifts slightly negative while you fast through the long sleeping hours. A high-protein breakfast flips that whole signal, replacing cereal and toast with eggs, yogurt, or a satisfying tofu scramble. That protein anchor quietly tames your hunger hormones, making lunch calmer and your entire eating day far easier to control. Now picture the ideal fat loss plate, built simply from lean protein, fiber-rich plants, and one sensible energy source. Protein supplies amino acids and satiety. The plants add volume and fullness, and your energy source fits your personal goals. Notice what is missing entirely from this whole plate. Panic, because you need no carb fear and no fat phobia.
The hardest diet is never truly the smartest one. It is simply the one that leaves you starving and miserable. So just follow a simple order. First, hit your calories, because you cannot out-protein a surplus or delete basic physics. Second, hit your protein, so the deficit pulls more from fat. Then lift some weights to give muscle a reason. Resistance training is the keep this tissue message, telling your stubborn body that your hard-earned muscle is clearly not optional. Protein provides the building bricks. Training provides the clear order to keep the house, and together they completely transform results. Now, compare 2 simple, common breakfasts, because the difference reveals everything about signals hiding quietly behind ordinary, everyday food choices. A bagel with jam tastes wonderful, yet delivers mostly carbs, little protein, weak leucine, and only very brief fading fullness. Hours later, hunger returns, not because you lack any discipline, but because that meal sent almost no real satiety signal. Swap it for eggs, Greek yogurt, and fresh berries, and suddenly the same person receives a completely different biological message. More protein, more leucine, more satiety hormones, slower digestion, and a far stronger thermic effect from one smarter morning choice. The same exact lesson applies at lunch, where a plain salad looks healthy, yet often leaves you hungry surprisingly soon. Add some chicken, tuna, eggs, beans, tofu, or salmon, and that weak salad instantly becomes a genuinely satisfying, complete meal. Your body never feels truly impressed by appearances alone. It always wants adequate signals, otherwise it simply demands more snacks. Now, beware the real traps, starting with high-protein processed foods that quietly stay low satiety, yet shockingly high-calorie. Protein cookies still remain cookies. Protein chips remain chips, no matter how boldly that lightning bolt label tries to impress you. Always ask exactly how much protein per calorie, how filling it is, and whether it replaces something genuinely more useful. The second big trap is dumping all your protein at dinner, after coffee, a tiny lunch, and growing evening guilt. Your daily total might look fine, but you missed several real chances to trigger muscle building and control rising hunger. The third sneaky trap is ignoring sleep, since poor rest raises stress hormones that quietly undermine your hard-won lean muscle. No amount of protein fully rescues you from chronic sleep deprivation because you cannot just sprinkle whey over total chaos. The fourth common trap is increasing protein while dropping fiber, leaving your gut, digestion, and overall fullness quietly far worse. Pair your protein with plenty vegetables, fruit, beans, and oats, keeping your gut happy and your appetite pleasantly under control. The fifth final trap is assuming more protein guarantees faster fat loss, when calories ultimately still decide the final outcome. Protein strongly supports fat loss, but hidden oils, rich sauces, cheese, and generous drizzles can quietly explode your daily calories. Olive oil stays healthy, yet never imaginary, and peanut butter is nutritious, but basically delicious cement, absolutely packed with calories. So, what does a strong protein day truly look like? Not a strict rule, just a simple, repeatable winning pattern. Breakfast brings eggs with fruit, Greek yogurt with fresh berries, or a warm tofu scramble to anchor your entire morning. Lunch delivers chicken, tuna, lentils, tofu, or salmon piled generously over a large, colorful salad or a hearty filling bowl. A smart snack might be cottage cheese, edamame, Greek yogurt, hard-boiled eggs, or a quick shake whenever real time disappears. Dinner offers lean meat, fish, tempeh, beans, or tofu with vegetables and a carb or fat fitting your personal goals. The specific foods can always freely change, but the underlying signal stays consistent. Protein, fiber, enough calories, never accidental excess. Some people must pay even extra attention here, especially adults over 40 whose muscle now demands a much stronger signal. Dieters lose lean mass much more easily. Sedentary bodies downgrade unused muscle, and aging changes can quietly accelerate muscle breakdown. None of this means panic. It simply means strategy, because your body stays consistent, which somehow feels even more annoying. So let us finally answer the real question directly. What truly are the best high-protein foods for losing fat? They are foods delivering quality protein, strong lasting satiety, and enough leucine without quietly blowing up your entire daily calories. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, chicken, turkey, tuna, and lean fish all sit comfortably near the very practical top tier. Salmon, sardines, lean beef, shrimp, edamame, tofu, tempeh, lentils,
Beans and chickpeas also join that genuinely powerful and dependable lineup. For maximum protein per single calorie, choose lean fish, shrimp, chicken, turkey, egg whites, non-fat yogurt, or fast-digesting whey powder. For maximum lasting fullness, lean toward eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, legumes, salmon, and meals combining real protein with fiber. If you eat fully plant-based, prioritize soy foods, edamame, tofu, tempeh, lentils, beans, and protein powder whenever truly needed. If late-night snacking destroys you, plan an earlier high-protein snack like yogurt before that hunger becomes truly wild. And if preserving muscle truly matters, stop asking how little you can eat and start asking what signal you send. Because your body always reads that exact signal, deciding daily whether to protect your muscle or quietly tear it apart. Send low protein, little movement, poor sleep, and aggressive cuts, and your body may sacrifice the very tissue you needed. Send adequate protein, well-spread meals, resistance training, fiber, and a reasonable deficit, and your body burns mostly stored fat. Same scale goal, but completely different biology and a dramatically different outcome hiding quietly behind those identical falling numbers below. This is the real hidden logic. High-protein foods never cause fat loss alone. They simply change the entire fight. They make your whole deficit easier, more filling, more metabolically expensive, and far more protective of your precious lean muscle. So at every single meal, simply place a real protein source first, then add plants, then fit remaining daily calories. Use shakes when truly helpful, but never let powders replace the chewing, texture, nutrients, and genuine satisfaction of real food. Remember this clearly. Protein is not your villain. The real enemy is dieting in a way that makes everything harder. Hunger grows much louder, muscle slips away faster, and your willpower crumbles under a plan you simply cannot truly sustain. So build meals you can actually repeat, because the perfect diet abandoned in 9 days helps absolutely nobody at all. Choose your protein wisely, send the right signal daily, and let your body finally burn fat while protecting its strength.